You know what would be better than watching this commercial? Watching your commercial. Join the party that is Make Your Day Richer TV by advertising your brand, business, or project during the show. Use us to promote what you're doing to make our viewers' day richer. Scan the QR code or visit makeyourdayricher.com/advertising to start promoting today.
Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Well, hi everyone, welcome. I'm bleeding. It's all right. It's all right. You don't have to do that. I'm bleeding on my finger. I am a nail biter, skin biter, and I have been this since I was I'm not sure, 4 years old probably. And I have been able to stop it a few times for a little while, but never successfully for like life. And maybe I need to get someone on here to talk about this, because if there's any anxiety, like even 0.5% of anxiety in my mind, I'm picking. If I'm bored, I'm picking. If my hands are dry, I pick. And apparently I was picking and didn't even know it, and now I'm bleeding. Hello, welcome to the show. Who knew? Who knew? Who is an anxious biter? When I was a kid, I actually used to bite. If you're watching this, if you're listening, whatever, like whatever this, like my wrist, there's like a little piece here, and I used to bite it and pick it, and it would scab and be very red all the time, right here. Listen, childhood life is hard, okay? Whatever. You know what is fantastic though? 115,000 views. What? 115? Y'all, this is amazing. You can go ahead right now, so we can get to 116 by tomorrow. Boom, share the show. Boom, so easy and so helpful. It's amazing to see. And we have such great people to introduce you to that I just get so excited every day when that number goes up. And when there's a big jump. I think yesterday was 110, 111, and we're at 115. So amazing. Thank you so much for doing that. And also thank you for the random person who bought me a coffee. I don't know who it was. They bought 3 coffees yesterday. It just said someone bought you a coffee. You're supposed to put your name in there, but it said someone. So thank you for that. If you want to support the show, go to buymeacoffee.com/makeyourdayricher and support the show, because that's how we get to continue to bring amazing people to you every day. Let's see, what else do I have to tell you? Sad news. A couple of months ago, we had a great musician in the studio, Joe Dobby. He's local here to the Waxhaw, North Carolina, South Carolina area. His wife died yesterday. I met her at his show the week that he was here. They have 2, maybe 3 young children. They're both young, and she went through some medical stuff and died yesterday. And so our love to Joe Dobby, his family. I don't even know. I cannot imagine what they're all going through right now. So it's just like, yeah, she was, I was reading a post that he had, and she was diagnosed with lupus, I think, a couple of weeks ago, had a seizure, ended up in the hospital, and I died. I'm telling you, you just never, ever know. And that's why it is so important to be kind to people. What else can I tell you? Nothing crazy is happening here. So we should probably just get to the show, shall we? We have a great show today. The title of today's show is called Building an Organized Life and Business, because we have Nelson here, who we're going to talk about using AI for your business and your life and organizing that. We've got Angie here, who's going to talk about organizing your home and your life and your mind and the importance of that and how people get into unorganized life. She has a podcast about it and books, so that's really exciting. It's a great, great show. So let's go. Why are you listening to me? Get ready to meet a force of nature in the entertainment industry. Nelson Paredez, I hope I'm saying that right, is a dynamo known for wearing many hats, from leading the ESI Network, a powerhouse talent management company, to guiding aspiring young stars into the spotlight. Nelson's impact goes far beyond show business. He's passionate about empowering entrepreneurs through helpandanswers.com and educating entertainment professionals on AI integration with the AIexperts.com. Please welcome Nelson. Introduce you to Nelson Paredez Park. Ladies and gentlemen, let's clap for him. Look at that. You're the first guest to have like a grand entrance.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. That's great.
I'm going to start making everybody do that from this day on. How are you, sir?
That's great. I am awesome. Excited to be here.
Yes, I'm happy to have you here because we're going to talk about something that I know nothing about. I just had a conversation about it this week and with like just someone outside of this show and was like, well, I just don't understand AI. Mm-hmm. I think it's so, I know it's been around forever. We're just finally getting to be able to use it. Yep. And you work in the entertainment industry. You've been in the entertainment industry for quite some time as a talent manager. I know there was a lot of like negative talk, obviously with the strike and everything, on AI and entertainment.
Yep.
But I want to talk to you about like the positives of it.
Yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about kind of my experience with it, kind of how this all occurred. So approximately about a year ago, I just started calling a bunch of my friends and finding out, like, what do you know about AI? Like, how much do you use ChatGPT? And I was shocked to hear how many of my colleagues and friends, they were like, ChatGPT, what? And I was like, wow, if all of my colleagues are like that out to lunch, I'm like, I need to figure something out, or I need to figure out how to educate my community. And again, I'm a little old school, so technology is not my forte. So I started thinking, what do I do about that? So I started, I got a group of about 100 people together, and I started building a website called AIexperts.com. So it's XPERTS. And I just started building like an educational site just to first have my understanding of AI. Like, I didn't even understand it myself. So I thought, like, I need to start there and start educating myself. And I've always been an entrepreneur. So I thought, let me start there. And I had this Zoom, and I called up about 5 other friends of mine that were AI experts per se. And they got on the Zoom, and we had a long discussion and just educated agents and casting directors and producers and various people in the entertainment industry. And it was happening around the time that the whole SAG strike was happening. So it was a little bit controversial there, in the sense, like, you're supporting this thing called AI, but you're a talent manager, and why are you doing this, and all that sort of thing. But I thought, I don't think AI is going to necessarily replace everybody, but I definitely think it's going to replace people that don't know how to integrate AI into their markets or communities or businesses. So I think I've just been going down an inquiry of just learning a lot about the AI space. There's just so many tools to use. I went to an interesting conference last week. This girl that got up with her phone and just recorded herself, did a whole kind of informational thing for all of us in the audience, for us to see like how quickly you can create a clone of yourself, and then watching it up on screen and seeing like, wow, that really looks like me. So I think it's interesting times, and I think it's about figuring out, how do you use AI in your job, in your day-to-day thing. I told my staff about 9 months ago that we got to figure out like how everyone should be or could be using AI, not because we want to replace anyone on my team, and not because we want to replace actors in the entertainment industry, but if we don't kind of at least start educating ourselves in the AI space, we're going to be left behind a little bit. And so that's kind of what I've been doing. And it's been kind of a fascinating journey. I've been going to some AI conferences and just connecting with people that are a lot smarter than I am to learn that side of the world.
Yeah, that's what I think is overwhelming, is it feels like you don't know which program to use. And ChatGPT is like just the beginning of it all, but that's like kind of where everyone's starting. How do you use it in your everyday work
Well, I
life?
definitely use the ChatGPT function of it. Like when I'm planning out, things in my life or projects in my life, it helps me put things in order. It helps me like write an agreement that I have to type up really quickly. One of the things that I've been doing the last many years, I have a brand called helpandanswers.com. And so I'm a business coach or strategist that helps business people and entrepreneurs really get their companies or brands to that next level. And the whole premise of Help and Answers is that you have the life, the brand, or the company that you have dependent on the questions that you ask yourself or dependent on the questions that you don't ask yourself in your life. So I go through your time, your money, your boundaries, everything in your life to make sure that you have a really wise business plan put together for your life and business. We've been using AI to create tons of social media posts, agreements and proposals that we need to kind of put together. I have a couple different meetings that I have with myself every week. And these are meetings that I propose that everyone should probably do in their life or business owners to be successful. One of my meetings is called my proposal hour. And so with AI, it's helping me getting my proposals together where it would normally take me 2 or 3 hours to put together a proposal. I can put together a proposal in 5 minutes, and just tweak things. I'll put the core points of what I want to kind of put in there, and so it's really helped me in getting proposals out because it's important to make sure that you're getting out enough sort of possibilities to create business with people. And so my proposal hour is a very important time in my week and meeting that I have every week that seems to make it an impact. So it's helping me speed up every part of my workflow.
Well, I think you said something important that you take it and then tweak it, because that's also, I think, what some people forget is like, it's not perfect.
Yep.
and so to go in, proofread, change it, to sound more like you, like don't just copy and paste and throw it out there.
Yep. And it's funny. I was talking to a client the other day and he asked me to put a document together for him and he read it and he said to me, Nelson, did you have AI write this whole thing? And I said, actually, absolutely not. I actually didn't have AI do any of it. So it's funny that sometimes people think it's AI and it's not and vice versa. But I definitely think that it helps me speed up my workflow. And I think that it's about asking the right questions, asking the right prompts, and so the deeper and the more you learn about how to ask these questions or how to leverage information a little quicker and organize it in a positive way, I think everybody's got to be putting in a good hour a day into learning how to be more effective with it. And we're going to be adding a lot more sections of the AI Expert website where we're going to actually have all of the tools and the price costs and how much, so that everyone can kind of see these are probably the right tools that would work for me. So we're rolling that out. It's just going to be a helpful section of the site to just help people stay educated on all the many AI tools that are out there and how you could be using it for whatever it is that you're up to as an artist or a business owner or creative.
Are there things that you're finding that it's not good at?
I haven't fully figured out how to handle some of the sort of financial things that I'm trying to put together in a way for planning and strategizing. This week I was working on a proposal I had to come up with for someone, and I saw that I had to keep repeating certain questions in a different way, and it finally got it. So what it taught me is that I just need to understand the algorithms a little bit better to just know how to ask the question. So it's a little bit trial by error, but I haven't found anything that it's not. Every area of my life, AI is helping me out with, and I think living in a world now where this week I went to test drive a Tesla and oh my goodness, it was scary, getting in that Tesla, having to do the automatic drive. I live an hour away from my office and I, for the first time, did try that structure where I had the car fully drive me. Was wow, technology is speeding up. And yesterday, when I went back into the Tesla shop, I walked in and saw the Tesla version that they have that doesn't even have a steering wheel. You just get in the car and there's no steering wheel. And I'm wow, it's coming. So I think every industry is going to be disrupted. and you got to figure out how you will not be disrupted. And with my brand helpandanswers.com, like I teach people how to think, I teach people, how to ask better questions of themselves and their lives so that you really, you got to be a critical thinker now, because you also don't know what to trust. When I'm on my phone and I search through things, I'm like, is that real? Is that not real? Like with all the AI models that are out there, I can record myself and it looks like I'm saying this message. What if someone duplicated me and found a way to duplicate me and get a message out that's not even speaking? So you also need to be a critical thinker. You need to go like, is this real? Maybe I should actually call that person and check in with them and be like, hey, is this accurate? Because maybe there's something that's not fully true. And so I think it's fact checking and learning how to still go with your gut and ask yourself questions and not just trust everything you see here, because a lot of it might be manipulated in many ways.
What did you want to be when you grew up, when you were a kid?
I wanted to be an actor when I first was a kid, and I moved out here to Hollywood and did that, and was very fortunate. The first year I was out here, I worked a bunch, and then I worked in casting and worked for 4 different casting offices out here in California. And then I was an acting coach, and I taught, tens of thousands of kids and young adults. But I was always an entrepreneur. At age 17, I had my own business, so I pretty much always was creating my own business ventures. I started a networking group called Break for Breakfast. It was a group that just grew from like 5 people on a Sunday having brunch, and it grew to 150 people every Sunday coming together for a brunch. So I've always been good at just like creating and generating ideas and creating business. And so I like to do business with my friends, because my work doesn't seem like I'm working. For me, I'm just like, I'm playing a big strategic game, and like it's fun. And I have a Monday mastermind, and it's just 10 or 12 of my business friends that like all own companies, and we're figuring out how to leverage our relationships, cohesively. It's so hard to do anything nowadays by yourself. So the more you're connected with more people that you can branch out and kind of grow together, I think that's the way to do it. And a thing that I've been doing this last year that's been really productive is let's say I decide to go to an event or a party. I'll call 2 or 3 friends of mine that I know are good, in the room. And I'll say, hey, let's go out for the night. Let's go to this event. Let's go to this party. And we'll all play a game. And we'll say to each other, okay, I'm going to walk out of the room tonight with 20 contacts in my phone. My friend will walk out with 20. My other friend will walk out with 20. By the end of the night, let's say that we have 80 people in our phones. So we collectively put all those contacts on one spreadsheet, and we write down who, what, where, when, why, everything we learned about all of them. And now we all as a team can see like, oh, these are all the people that we met in the party, and we met them by group. So now we can see like who's the most effective person that I could actually build a relationship with. And I found that that's a great way to go to an event, connect with people, and really expand your network exponentially. So I'm doing a lot of things like that are by leveraging by association. One, I just do this because it's naturally kind of how I live my life. And then a lot of my business coaching clients, I help them with things like this or systems and structures to have their companies and plans be a lot more effective.
Wow. If someone is like myself, like just thinking, okay, I got to get on this AI bandwagon, like let's start this. Is there something that like every business owner, everybody should be looking into or trying?
Well, what I do is I just go to YouTube. I start there. And like each night I'm like, I watch one more YouTube video. I'm like, interesting. I never even knew that. And so that gives me my kind of homework for the week on like things to research and read on. And I would say that find some sort of AI sort of group in your area that you can go to. There's so many of them popping up everywhere now. And so just to go out with like-minded people and just learn, through connections. Education is so vital now. I think that if you're not growing yourself, you're kind of dying. So like for me, like as a coach and strategic analyst, for people, it's always about the questions you're asking yourself daily. So each day, ask yourself deeper questions. Ask yourself, how could I do this wiser? How could I? There's a book this last year that I read that was all about getting 1% better at all that you do. And each day I'm like, okay, I did 20 sit-ups today. Tomorrow I'll do 21. The next day I'll do 22. And each day you're doing 1% better with every area of your life. Call one extra friend to connect with, put out one extra proposal each day, send out one more instant message person to someone. So it's just about each day, getting a little stronger, a little better, and then figure out how to use technology to systemize it and have it work faster for you,
Yeah. What do you love most about your life right now?
That's a hard one to answer because my daughter is like the joy of my life, So it's great, to spend time with family. And my wife and I think our best moments are like with family time with our daughter, and we get to just experience life, being a kid. And I would say I've always been a big kid. Like I never wanted to kind of grow up. I think that is a great part of my life, as well as I love helping people. So I love teaming up and collaborating and like putting the puzzle together each day. Like, so when I have a friend that's struggling in one area, I'm like, oh, how could I help you do this or team you up with such and such a person? So for me, it's just a game, like each day is a game. And my commitment and goal is just to help more and more people.
I love that. What is the best way that people can connect with you and follow you?
So going to my Help and Answers website, connecting with me on LinkedIn. You can follow me at Nelson Paredez Parks. So at Nelson Paredez Parks on Instagram. And if you want to connect with me on my entertainment company, the ESI Network that manages actors, you can go to the ESI Network.com. But I would say that my time is split between, my management company that I've had for 30 years and building a lot of my successful working actor clients, and then also business coaching entrepreneurs and business owners, as that's kind of like been the latest hobby in the last many years of my life. That's been really thrilling.
You are a busy man, so I appreciate you stopping by here just for a little bit to educate me. Nelson, everyone, we'll be right back with Angie Hyche right after this. Don't go away.
You know what would be better than watching this commercial? Watching your commercial. Scan the QR code or visit makeyourdayricher.com/advertising to start promoting today.
We're back, everybody, and I'm here with Angie Hyche. Did I get that right?
You did.
Oh my God, I'm so proud of myself. So early in the morning, it's so tough, How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I have no complaints because I'm excited to talk to you about clutter and uncluttering and organizing. And you'll probably prove me wrong, but I feel like this time of year is when people are like, all right, one of my New Year's resolutions is to get organized. And so I think this is perfect timing for you to be on. You have a business called ShipShape Solutions. How did this come about?
Yeah, it was very twisting, turning road, and it's not unusual for organizing to be a second or third career. Because my background is in science and medicine and a little bit in education, but I always have loved things being in order, and just drives me crazy when they're not. And so when I found out that organizing was a thing that you could actually do for people, I started being interested in shifting careers, but it took a while for me to kind of get up the nerve to start a business. That's kind of a big thing. It was intimidating to me, and to be at a point in my life at empty nest stage where I had a little time to devote to it. So yeah, I actually found out when it was confirmed to me that this was what I needed to do was when I was started doing community theater as a hobby, acting, and the room where one theater had their costumes, props, and set pieces was an absolute disaster. It drove me crazy.
We have a dog that has questions for you, apparently.
Yeah, sure. I love dogs. So me and a part-time theater employee took months to get things in order, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. I started my business in 2016. I've actually spent 7 years working with clients in homes and some businesses, and now I am not working with clients, but just speaking, writing, and podcasting about clutter and simplifying your life and putting things in order.
Oh, okay. So I have so many questions. One, did your love of organization come, like, did you grow up in like a very organized or maybe an unorganized household where like now you loved it, or how did you grow up?
Yeah, so it's interesting. Most people kind of have one way or the other. If they grew up in a really chaotic and cluttered place, sometimes that is the pattern they see, and so they'll copy that. And then sometimes it'll be the opposite. My home was very ordered. My mother, I've told her that I could probably, when I was working with clients, hire her part time to help me. She definitely taught me a lot. So we always had, everything had a place and it was kept in its place. And when it got a little chaotic, we just put it right back. And so
Yeah, that's how I grew up.
with
Like,
that.
my mom knew when the thing was just half a centimeter off on the shelf,
Wow.
and shoes were lined up. She wasn't like militant about it, but
Right.
everything was very clean, all of that. And I
Yeah.
used to, when I would come home when I was in college, and I would go home for like Christmas breaks, summer breaks, I would have people hire me to go organize closets and kitchens and stuff. So
Really?
I love
Wow.
organizing, color coding. I wish
Yeah.
I could do that more in my own life, but I love doing that. It's
Yeah.
so like gratifying.
Yes. You could give me like this big mess of things and let me put them in order. It's
Mhm.
just brings me kind of some peace.
Yes.
Yeah. It
Yes.
would be the most torturous thing to put me in a chaotic environment and, tie my hands and feet together and not let me do anything about it.
It's like when people mow the lawn and those like beautiful lines in the lawn,
Yeah.
like that's what it feels like to me when everything's organized and
Yes.
at the front of the shelf. What are some reasons why things get unorganized for people? Like, what are the main reasons why this happens?
When it comes to clutter, as far as like bringing too much into our lives, I think the main reason, honestly, is trying to fill a deeper need that
Mm,
really can't be filled by stuff or events on our calendar or anything. We're trying to bring ourselves some sense of happiness and contentment. It also, disorder and clutter can come from just not really making best use of our time, just going thing to thing to thing without really taking the time to figure out what is important to me and how do I want to spend my time and what do I want to think about. Clutter, most people, if I say give me think about the word clutter, what image comes to your mind? They're going to think of piles of stuff. And
mhm,
definitely that is a form of clutter, but it's way deeper than that. It's not just stuff. It's really anything that distracts you from your priorities. And that could be stuff, and
mhm.
it could also be things on your calendar or to-do list that don't align with your priorities. And it can be stuff that you're thinking about that is pulling you away from what's important. It's a really deep psychological
Wow.
topic. I used to go into homes and I come home and be honestly a little arrogant about, oh, here I am in my clutter-free home and isn't it perfect? And the more I learned about clutter, the more I understood that I had just as much clutter as any of my clients. It's just that mine was all invisible. And it's
Wow.
even harder to deal with. I would pack my schedule full and have all this stuff going on because I wasn't really wanting to deal with the deeper issues. So it's a lot. There's a lot to it.
Was part of your move to make kind of your story public, but through your books, through your blogs, through your podcast, part of that kind of inner work to bring that all to light for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. And people are a lot more willing to listen to someone's story if you're willing to be vulnerable about where you
Yeah.
are. A lot of the clutter in my life, as far as mentally, comes from addiction to my phone. I've come a long way,
Mm,
but it was a real problem, and it's rampant right now in our
yeah.
society. It's a lot easier to stare at your screen than it is to have an honest conversation with someone or to serve people in need or whatever. But it's choices that we make about how we spend our time and what we prioritize.
You've been blogging about this since 2016, right?
Yeah.
What kind of are some things that people can find on your blog, and why is a blog important to you to have
So
out there
I
as a
actually
resource?
when I started my business in August 2016, I started a blog, but then that blog became an article in 2 of my local newspapers. And so they're on my website as a blog, but I wrote them as newspaper articles. It turned from what I wrote, I want to put some things out there to let people know that I have an organizing business and I can help you in your home. It turned from that to I want to put this out into the world because I really feel like that if people, take this to heart and make changes in your life, you'll be a better and more content person. So it went from I'm trying to get business as an organizer to I really want to improve people's lives, and I don't care whether I get in their homes. I have a message that I feel is important.
That's such a huge shift, right? Of
Yes.
like, I just want business and I want money to like, oh
Like,
wait, there's like a service here. There's a there's a ministry in a way to
oh,
this.
absolutely. Yeah, both of my books and my podcasts are faith-based, but someone doesn't have to be a person of faith for this message to really ring true for them.
What's the name of your podcast, and when does it come out?
Okay, so the podcast has the same title as my second book, which published in June 2024. It is Uncluttered, Shaping Your Heart and Home for What Matters Most. And my first book, published in 2020, it's Unholy Mess, What the Bible Says About Clutter.
And how often does the podcast come out?
It's an every other Wednesday and started in January of 2023. So I have a co-host for the podcast who also co-authored the book of the same title, Liana George. She's a former professional organizer in Houston turned author. She's written a trilogy of fiction books about a professional organizer that are excellent.
Oh my gosh, I'd love to have her on the show.
Yeah, Leanna's awesome. So she and I met through a mutual acquaintance, and she had been kind of storing away ideas for a devotional book about organizing for years. And then she and I met, and she asked if I wanted to go together on this. So we started the podcast in advance of the book, partially to build an audience and partially, again, because it's kind of a mission, a ministry. So we started the podcast January of 2023. They deal with clutter in our home, clutter in our schedule, and clutter in our mind.
Oh, yes. I think people see the physical part of it,
Yes.
right? And don't think anything else. Is there like a best time of year, a best like to start getting organized, or is it like what brings someone to say, okay, enough is enough?
I think it's different for each individual when they reach that point. And honestly, the best time is always now.
Yeah.
I mean, the time that most people think about trying to put things in order is at the beginning of the year. We make goals, and I think that's a great time. But I think also December 4th is a good time, whatever today is. And sometimes it just taking one little small step and just saying, you know what? This junk drawer is driving me bananas. I open it, I can't even see what's in there. Or my utensil drawer, it's crazy. Or my t-shirts, or my just whatever it is, just taking one small step. And then that step gives you a little momentum, and then you take another and another and another. Unholy Mess especially is full of like, okay, I got to declutter and organize. Where in the world do I start? And there's lots of different ways you can do that. But I will tell you, I love to share this one tip. It's so practical. It's the kind of thing that anybody can do, takes almost no time, and it makes a big difference. So as far as physical clutter, so I really recommend everyone have some kind of container, box, bag, whatever, in an easy to access place in your home. And every time you see anything that you don't love it and use it, how I define clutter, do I love it? Do I use it? Anything, or it's not bringing value to your life. find that item wherever it is, just immediately toss it in that container. And when it fills up, you go donate it. And you just do it over. It's an ongoing process. I call it daily decluttering. My husband and I, a few years ago, we moved into a very small loft. We got rid of 75% of our stuff. It
Wow.
was amazing. Love it. I've only missed like one thing in all these years. It's been like 4 years now. But we are consumers. We continually bring more into our home. So if we're not getting things out, we still fill up our box probably once or twice a month with things.
Gosh.
So it's just, that's a really easy thing to do. Doesn't take much time, and it can make a big difference. If all you did was that, starting out as a baby step, it's a great place to start.
You're just answering all my questions, so I love it. You're the perfect guest.
Awesome.
Because I was going to, like, my rule for myself is like, if for physical stuff, if it takes less than like a minute to do, I do it. So like dishes in the sink, like pet peeve of mine. But like, why are we making multiple steps? We're putting it in the sink, and then 3 hours later we're putting it in the dishwasher. Why not just put it in the dishwasher?
Right.
But that's maybe a couples counseling thing that we should do. But that's like my role for myself, like if it's there. I also have a friend who is a personal stylist, and she helps people with closet edits. And so her rule is like, put all of your hangers one way. And every month, the ones that aren't flipped over, those are the clothes you don't use. You don't need them.
Right. Yep. That's
so
another really good one. Yep. Yeah. And to your first one about the dishes, a lack of routine or consistency with daily habits is a huge source of clutter. The laundry that we get it washed and dried, but it never gets put up, or we just don't have a routine with the dishes, or just daily pickup. Oh my goodness. Spending 5 minutes a day just putting things back in the place where they belong. Because when you don't do that, you end up spending your whole Saturday just picking things up. Yeah. So daily habits are huge. They're the best drivers of change. And as far as physical clutter, it can make a big, big difference.
You're making me feel really guilty because I'm really good at laundry and then putting it in the dryer and then throwing it on the couch in the loft.
Yeah.
And then taking clothes from there. I'm so bad at that finishing line of laundry. So I'm going to go do that as soon as we're done here. I'm going to go put that laundry away.
So I put mine on my bed, so I can't go to sleep until I.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will totally just throw it in a clothes basket and throw it on the floor. You're like, that's this weekend. This weekend is always a really bad excuse.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you'd rather spend your weekend just doing fun stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. What do you love most about your life right now?
Oh wow, that's a great question. Although I really enjoyed being in homes and businesses and handling the stuff and helping people. Now I love being an idea person. So like right now, after having written 2 books that are nonfiction that are, I guess fall in the self-help genre, I decided, so since I've done community theater for 20 years as a hobby, and I'm an organizer and an author, I've seen books about organizers. I've seen a few movies, but I've not seen much on the stage. So right now I am working on a play about a professional organizer who's helping her mother declutter and downsize. And I wasn't even sure my brain was geared to write stories. But then I thought, why do I assume I can't do this? Let me just try it. And so it's been so much fun to make up this story. Now I get why people love to write so much. It's so fun to just have an idea and sit and So coming up with content is it's a lot of fun.
Oh, I love that. I hope you come back. I was a theater major in college, and so understand. I understand your theater prop organizing obsession.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
And you're based in Tennessee, correct?
Yeah, I'm in East Tennessee. Yes.
Okay, good. When you get that play written and you're ready, please come back, bring the cast, and we'll talk about it.
That would be awesome. Yeah, we have a lot in common. You love order. You're a theater person.
I love
And that's-
clutter, apparently, based on this set. So
No, but they are a category. I love your set. I'm just yeah. They
it's
go
just
together.
here. This room is chaos. Everything else pretty much has nothing in it because I can't
Yeah.
stand it. What is the best way for people to connect with you and book you for speaking engagements and get the book and the podcast?
I love talking, emailing, speaking about all things clutter, all things order, time management. I speak a lot to seniors about like not leaving a burden to their families by making a plan for their stuff, by getting their records in order, that kind of thing. I'd love to talk to anybody about how I can help you deal with your clutter and bring simplicity to your life so you can have, spend time doing what you want to do and not having to deal with all your excess.
Well, yeah, and it's at some point it just gets so overwhelming that that a person gives up. And so that's really when it's important to talk to Angie, talk to someone about helping you take that next step and start organizing your life.
Absolutely. Yeah. When,
Really.
when we get to the point of being overwhelmed with whatever it is, the next step is usually just paralysis. Like I just don't even know where to start. So I'm just not going to do anything. And then it just gets worse. It's a vicious cycle.
It is so serious. Yes. Angie,
Yeah.
it is a pleasure having you on here. You come back anytime you want. You're fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm hoping to be able to share the play with you soon. So
Okay, good. I'll be right here.
okay.
Angie, go check out her books. They're called Uncluttered and Unholy Mess, the podcast, the speaking engagements. She's amazing. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away.
You know what would be better than watching this commercial? Watching your commercial. Scan the QR code or visit makeyourdayricher.com/advertising to start promoting today.
Hey, go make your day richer. Go make someone else's day richer. You've made mine by watching the show, and I love you for it. Click the share button right now. Just do it. Just don't wait. On tomorrow's show, all new with Daniel Goddard from The Young and the Restless, and also he has a great new app that brings augmented reality into the social networking sphere. So we're going to talk to him, and also Stuart Jaffe is here to talk about his new sci-fi book. So that's it. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.